Hey, we're a pair of basic liches, and today we're going over what we think are the top 10 most ridiculous spells in D&D 5th edition.
Yes, ridiculous, silly, whatever you want to call them. We have done a little bit of research. We didn't kill ourselves here. This is mostly for fun. We're having a good time. But we looked at all of the officially available 5e sources, all the books. It could be anything that sort of tickles our funny bones. That's what lands these spells on this list. Stay tuned to the end of the video if you want to see what we think is the most ridiculous spell in all of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Coming in at number 10, we have Nathirs Mischief, which comes from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. This is a 2nd level illusion spell. Right off the bat, you know it's going to be silly when the material component needed doesn't cost anything, but it's a little small crumb of apple pie crust. This spell creates a 20-foot cube. It's just filled with fey and draconic magic, and it lets you roll a d4 on a mischievous surge table, which just sounds ridiculous, and we love it. So you roll a d4. If you roll a 1, the area feels like apple pie, and they're like an old cartoon just floating towards. They're charmed, essentially. They're charmed by the apple pie smell. One of them lets you blind people with the area.
Flowers.
Yeah, there's flowers sprouting, and they squirt water like a Joker's.
Like clown flowers.
Yeah, exactly. One of them turns people into giggling idiots. Another one makes it filled with dripping molasses, so it's difficult terrain. It's silly. It's nonsense. It's fun. It's why it's one of the first ones we sort of researched and was like, this is dumb. We kind of love it.
It's like a little amped up, fey-themed prestidigitation.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah, I especially love being blinded by flowers.
Squirt, squirt, skeet, skeet,
I love how
motherfucker.
it's not fall asleep. It's not like the poppies from Wizard of Oz. It's
just fucking squirt.
ah! Oh, God!
My eyes!
Tulips! Oh!
Oh my goddamn eyes!
God! Tulips are the brightest.
The brightest.
Coming in at ninth, silliest, we have from Xanathar's Guide to Everything, the Ceremony spell. You can cast about 6 different ceremonies, and with a low fee of 25 gold and a little bit of powdered silver, you can perform a ceremony for an hour on a creature within 10 feet of you. I love that there's a 10-foot requirement on this. It's like if someone's getting married, you're kind of like, if someone's got cold feet, you're like, you're going to break the spell. Marriage is over if you walk out of here. 11 feet, that's it. You wasted it. I need more silvered powder.
That was my last silvered powder. It's weird and wild. You can marry whoever you want. They get a bonus if they're near each other in combat. I think they get a bonus to their armor class or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
That lasts only for 30 days. Then the honeymoon period's over and you're back to regular AC.
This is in the same spell school as Fireball. It's an evocation spell.
You can also bless water. You can make it holy water. You can make a vial of water holy water, which is...
You can also buy it.
It costs exactly 25 gold pieces to
from
buy.
From the holy water store.
So you're probably losing out a little bit.
And then, when you're coming of age, you can have a bat mitzvah.
Yes, child. For the next 24 hours, you get a D4 to all your ability score checks, whatever.
Thank you, Father.
You could just have guidance and just be like, yeah, there you go. Every time. DM, guidance. Is that what everyone does anyway? Just like DM, guidance?
Yeah.
Like, no one role plays that. Coming in at number 8, also from Xanathar's Guide, we have the 2nd level transmutation spell, Skywrite, which allows you to make a sentence in the sky out of, like, clouds, presumably, or whatever. And you can choose up to 10 words, and you can make a sentence. You have to concentrate on this, and you can concentrate for up to a whole day. But it's also a ritual, so if you don't even want to use a spell slot, you could just, like, be doing, like, a weird novel in the sky.
Yeah, an entire
10
novel.
10 minutes at a time. You're just, like, sitting there, like, slurping soup, barely concentrating, just trolling the entire town. Or trolling the big bad guy.
We killed your henchman last night. We're coming for you.
Yeah, you're like the John McClane of, ho, 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 now I have a machine gun.
Imagine if they did. Yeah.
That's what you write in the sky.
Yeah. Our 7th silliest is Shadow of Moyle. Flame-like shadows wreath your body, making you obscured by others. You dim the light around you. You're resistant to radiant damage. And you need an undead eyeball encased in a gem to cast it.
Worth at least 150 gold pieces.
This is from Zenithar's Guide to Everything, and we just couldn't shake the thought of a full team of warlocks just having this spell on hand and all having gems with undead eyeballs inside them.
Undead eyeball. So it has to be like a zombie's eye, or the eye of a ghoul, or Strahd's eye.
But it's so commonplace that
just, you just go down to the magical MacGuffin store at the corner of Waterdeep. It's just a component. The spell itself is cool, but the component requirement is so ridiculous. And this is one of the reasons why we almost a little pro tip in the video here, but don't just hand wave this stuff and allow your players to just be like, here's 150 gold. I want the eyeball. I want the eyeball in a gem. Like that, make them sort of earn that. Hunt that thing down. That's the journey's part of the journey is the actual
you gotta find the
reward.
gem, you gotta hollow out the gem, you gotta make the viscous formaldehyde fluid inside, then you gotta find the undead eyeball to cram in there, and then we're gonna reseal the gem and maybe put it in the tumbler and clean it up.
Would you do this to your players? Like, they buy the gem and they're like, make sure, they're not even trying to barter. They're like, I'll give you 200 gold for it. And they're like, yeah, sure, here you go, guy.
Yeah.
And then, if he doesn't get it actually, appraised afterwards, because it has to be worth at least 150. So then you go to use, what is it, Shadow of Moyle, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell? You're like, something's wrong with the undead eyeball. It's only worth 140 gold pieces.
It's a cow's eye.
Or it's not an actual undead eyeball. Coming in at number 6 from the Player's Handbook is Contact Other Plane, which is a 5th level divination spell. And what it lets you do is you contact some other demigod or sage or seer or intelligence that lives on another plane of existence, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Heard it all before. Really cool spell. They can answer some questions for you. The real rub here of why it's ridiculous is if you fail the intelligence saving throw of 15, you take 6d6 damage, I believe, and then you go insane. It breaks your mind trying to do this. So while you're insane, you can't speak intelligently, you can't read, you can't cast spells, you can't do anything. You're a gibbering, bibbering idiot.
Yeah, why would anyone cast this?
I mean, I would assume that a wizard would have a high enough save at, whenever you get the spell
At a high
slot.
enough level, yeah.
So you're like, 15's not that bad, but the way I roll, I'd be like, woohoo! If you're successful, you get 5 questions to ask that other planar creature, so hope it was worthwhile. You get 5 and they'll be like, yes, no, unclear.
Are they stuck between planes like the undead are stuck alive while you're asking questions?
I don't know. Imagine they're just doing chores or some stuff, and their wife is like, "Who is it this time, Charlie?"
Giant portal opens above the island.
I'm busy. People want to talk to me.
The 5th most ridiculous spell is Soul Cage. This is a 6th level necromancy spell from Xanathar's Guide. You need a tiny silver cage worth 100 gold pieces to cast it. It lasts for 8 hours. Basically, you cast it when a humanoid dies within 60 feet of you. You can use your reaction to capture its dying soul. With it, you can use it to heal yourself. Mm-hmm. You could see through its eyes at a certain time of its life. You could also interrogate it if you wish to.
As one does with souls.
With tiny souls of people who had just died.
I'm just picturing that you can just see their soul just coming out of their body, and you have this tiny little silver cage.
Yeah.
You just open up a tiny little latch.
So it's like Genie in the Aladdin.
Yep.
It's like,
yep. And they're just it starts shaking around violently, and you just put it on your belt loop, and you're just like,
itty bitty living space.
And you're like, and then you're just you're dying. You're like, I need some life, and you just siphon it out of the soul. Yeah, you just sniffing. You start huffing a soul like drug addict.
It's like Spaceballs Perrier.
Yeah. At number 4, we have from the player's handbook, Simulacrum, which is a 7th level illusion spell. It takes 12, count them, 12 hours to cast, and it has a whole crap load of weird components that you need. You need like a bunch of snow, you need some hair, you need fingernail clippings, yada, yada, yada. You know, stuff that's just hanging around in your material components pouch. But you also need like $1,500 worth of ruby dust to spread on your little snow human hair doll that you're going to create. Essentially what this does is you can look at a creature, a humanoid, for 12 hours, and you can make a version of them to be your friend forever. And when they get made, they start out naked, and then you have to clothe them and give them weapons or whatever you want to do with them. They're there forever until they run out of hit points.
Flesh marionette.
It literally is just like Quagmire's like hair doll of like Lois that he's just like, and then you're able to, if you have 12 hours, you can just turn it into Lois because if you're spying on, that's the creepiest part of the spell. You're just like, you have to convince somebody or kidnap somebody and be like, I want to make a version of you that's my best friend.
You start pulling out their hair,
like,
clipping their nails.
Like it's so weird. And you're just like, why would you do this? You're just like a lonely person. Again, maybe this is something a dungeon master would do if they kidnapped one of your player characters. They make a simulacrum of one of the party members. And you're just like,
this is some Silence of the Lambs shit.
This is some Buffalo Bill like weirdo.
Put the lotion on your skin.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Third ridiculous spell we have is Feeble Mind from the player's handbook. It is an 8th level enchantment spell. It is an assault that deals psychic damage, and if the creature fails, then their intelligence and their charisma are reduced to 1. They cannot communicate, they cannot cast spells, and they're basically brought down to the intellectual level of a dog. A loyal dog. They know who their friends are, they can follow them, but...
And they could try to protect them.
Yes, that's about it.
So you fail that intelligence saving throw, and you screwed. You screwed for 30 days. This is ridiculous.
This is fun to use in the big bad, right?
Yeah. This is why legendary actions exist, so you can be like, you're like, wait, what does this do? Yeah, no. I'm legendary actioning. I automatically pass that save. But this is ridiculous. This would be fun to just like, because you just need to burn a spell slot. Like I'm just picturing the wizard going into town and making everyone feeble-minded that used to like pick on them their whole lives, and there's just like a town of idiots that would they're never going to be able to make that intelligence save. Your dungeon master at this point is now going to have to start role-playing this character with 1 intelligence and 1 charisma. So it's just as a player, I live for those moments. You just want to see like, you're like, all right, ball's in your court, DM. We're going to play that little improv game. Here you go. Coming in at number 2, we have Time Ravage. This is a 9th level spell. It is necromancy / dunamancy. This is from the Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. So you Critical Role fans out there, this one's for y'all. Essentially what this does is this is going to really drastically and painfully push someone to the brink of death by having their body age rapidly. They have to make a Constitution save, and I believe they have to roll like 10d12 damage. If they survive all that, the spell brings them to the brink of death, exactly 30 days before they're going to die.
You chose poorly?
You chose poorly. Matt Mercer, who hurt you? Why did you come up with this? Oh, and I forgot.
You have 30 days to live. I think that's just why he wanted to say that.
Yeah. But you do it on like a character too that was like...
That can take it.
That can take it.
Yeah.
They're like, ha ha ha, like I survived. Like,
yeah.
I survived all that damage. You're like, you did. But you didn't. Now you... And then you get to have them role play. They're ancient now. They're really old.
Yep.
So they're like... They're super old. They have like... penalties to movement, all their attacks, everything. It's bad. You're an old, decrepit fart. It's amazing.
And for what we think is the most ridiculous spell in 5th edition is Awaken. Awaken is a 5th level transmutation spell from the player's handbook, and you can choose any large or smaller plant or beast if they have 0 intelligence score, or if they have below 3 intelligence, you can cast it on them and give them 10 intelligence, converse with them, and make them your friend. So this takes 8 hours to cast. It costs 1,000 gold to cast as well.
Yeah, you need like an agate or something.
But it only lasts for so long, and you basically need to convince them to be your friend for eternity within that time.
Yes. Yes. I have cast Awaken. This is one of the few spells on this list that I've actually cast. And because, again, you have to make those sort of charisma checks.
Yeah.
And I remember I was playing a druid who had like an intelligence of 6. I was essentially like a feral animal myself. And I did not do so hot on these rolls. And I was so afraid I was going to waste all my money. But I basically had made this giant tree like my friend. It was amazing and hilarious. And again, my favorite part of this spell and the thing that makes it so ridiculous is you now have to throw that improvisational ball to your dungeon master and say, hey, show me what it's like to be a tree. And they have to start role-playing as a newly awakened shrub, squirrel.
If you really enjoyed this video, consider giving us a like. Join Basic Liches, please subscribe, Told the Dead for notifications.
We love ridiculous spells, and we hope you do too. Go ahead, do us a solid. Drop us a comment down below and let us know what you think are the most ridiculous spells in 5th edition. Let us know if you agree or disagree with our list. We got some more D&D videos over there. And if you're interested in a new system that's not D&D, we got a Savage Pathfinder product unboxing and review right here. Check it out.
Thanks for watching. Later, Liches.
Bye!